Oh, right. So I said last night, I think it was, on the Packer franchise Instagram page that I wasn't going to make a video about Jimmy Graham. But after receiving a lot of mixed feelings about Jimmy Graham, I have decided I will be doing a video on Jimmy Graham to answer all the questions about whether we should have cut Jimmy Graham or that they're happy they kept Jimmy Graham. So earlier last month, or not earlier last month, but like a couple weeks ago, there were rumors that the Packers will move on from Jimmy Graham. Obviously, that's not true, as Ian Rappaport tweeted out a couple days ago saying that the Green Bay Packers will most likely keep Jimmy Graham for next year. And I got some Packer fans upset or excited. And it's 50-50 because many people thought Jimmy Graham didn't have that great of a year last season. And yeah, people say it could be true, which I think he played in some big games he had. He had some big games, like the Minnesota Vikings game and the San Francisco 49ers game. It's hard to tell where you would rank Jimmy Graham's season. Definitely a little bit on the disappointment side, but honestly wasn't all that bad. But people don't realize who was a coach that year, Mike McCarthy, which, with all due respect to Mike McCarthy, but he has been terrible for the last couple seasons. And everyone knows Mike McCarthy doesn't really utilize his tight ends very well. But as we get into the podcast, as I'm going to tell you why I think Jimmy Graham will have a bounce back season, let's take a look at his stats from this past season. So his 2018 stats, and people first see the yards and the touchdowns, which the 2 is representing a touchdown, by the way, and people freak out about that stuff. But the one stat that people do not pay attention to is the yards per play. Basically meaning like every time he touched the ball. Jimmy Graham is averaging 11.6 yards a catch. That's a first down and a little more every time he catches the ball. And that's insane for, to call that a little bit of a downside, which honestly, that's a positive side if you think about it. Yeah, I think he only had like 55 catches, so it doesn't really mean much. But the fact that he's averaging more than a first down every time he catches the ball is saying something. And this was a down year. 636 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, and 11.6 yards per play. Crazy. I mean, not crazy numbers, but the yards per play should have gotten some people's attention. And I know I'm not the only Packer fan that thinks that. That is a terrific stat. But, back to the main point of why I think Jimmy Graham will have a bounce back year is very kind of reasonable, to be honest. 3 things. One, he has a new head coach, and Matt LaFleur, I believe with his, young experience with, red hot teams also, with the Falcons and the Rams, I feel like he can get some of that creative plays and also get a tight end more involved. Number 2, he posted a story on his Instagram after people called him out for posting only plain videos and plain pictures on his Instagram. He said, and I quote, that Jimmy Graham is working his ass off to, always get better, always improving. Now, and that's good. You want that out of your players if they ever had like a down year. You want them to be on the field, practicing and practicing. The only problem was Jimmy Graham could not catch some balls. I feel like if Jimmy Graham, which he can catch, he can honestly catch. I just felt like It just wasn't that year. And also, his struggles continued in Seattle his first year, and his rookie year with the Saints. So you can't really jump on the wagon just yet, saying Jimmy Graham was a bust for us. Oh, we paid this guy $30 million because he couldn't catch. Not true. But the fact that many people were not given a chance, and that's something people got to realize. When you get something new, it's not going to work the first time. And I'll probably post a podcast or make one later on saying that with all these new hirings we had, that it's okay, just calm down. It'll be fine. But this is all about Jimmy Graham, so we're going to focus on him more. I don't really have much else to say about Jimmy Graham on the podcast besides I feel like he'll have a bounce back year. He still can play at an elite level. I mean, me personally, as long as Jimmy Graham can be clutch on third down in red zones, I don't care what he does. I mean, people expect too much out of a tight end. A tight end is mostly like a security blanket in clutch third down plays and red zones. If Jimmy Graham can be clutch on third downs and clutch in the red zones, I don't care. I don't care if he goes for 50 yards and 2 touchdowns. As long as those plays he made were on third down and red zones, I'll be happy. So the people talking negative on Jimmy Graham, stop it. Give the guy a chance. I really believe Jimmy Graham will have a bounce back year. But that's pretty much it for the Packer franchise podcast for this one. It's a short episode, but I had to get it out there. And let me know if you want more short videos like this, because I noticed that the recent videos that have been like kind of long has not been much. So if you guys want short videos, let me know. I'll try to keep them as short as possible. But alright guys, thank you for tuning in to Packer Franchise Podcast. I love you guys. Take care. Have a good night. See ya.